on from that, I guess if the central tenet really is to connect people back to experiencing pleasure, how easy do people find that to do? Because I know there's often people that aren't in touch with their feelings at all. And is that something you help people to achieve?
Absolutely, Pete. One of the pieces here that's important is that for many people, the very word pleasure brings up tension.
Mm-hmm.
There is something taboo in our society around pleasure, which makes the sex industry sell a lot of product because it is taboo, or at least perceived as taboo. And the word pleasure itself is often just associated with sex, which is a shame because we have pleasure in just about everything we do. And so it comes down to, are we getting the pleasure we want out of the food that we're eating, out of the place where we're living, out of every activity that we do, even every motion? There's pleasure everywhere if we pay attention to it. And the focus here is largely to maximize our pleasure, not by going after all sorts of things, but by savoring, by taking the time to enjoy something, to be mindful of the pleasure that we're having. This dramatically increases pleasure without having to particularly do anything else but just be present. So a large part of my training is to teach people about savoring. Now, there are other things regarding pleasure that are important, that people will want to pay attention to. For instance, all pleasures come to an end, every last one of them. It's the natural cycle. So what do you do with a pleasure that's come to an end? Well, fine, you acknowledge that the pleasure's come to an end, it's stopped, things have changed, and you move on to the next pleasure. You don't regret and bemoan and get unhappy about having a pleasure come to an end. They all do. So it's a matter of paying attention to the thing that has come to an end and then looking around for the next pleasure. And by doing that, you can stay in a high vibration, in a place of happiness, place of joy, and keeping your center. And that is a large part of what I teach. Now, when it comes to feelings in general, one of the big things that needs to be said is that the great feelings of life, joy, harmony, peace, are all actually very intense feelings. And very often people mistake intensity for pain. So what I try to do is to help people get used to intensity, to recognize that increasing their ability to experience intensity increases their capacity for love and joy and happiness. Now, mind you, it does include also experiencing those things that don't feel so good. But only by experiencing those things, to the extent that we need to let them pass, we experience those, and then when they do disappear, we are in a much better position to experience the joys if we choose to, if we make a point of going for the joy and the love and the happiness and the pleasure. So it is a matter of understanding our ability to pick what we're going to feel, choose what we're going to feel, to the extent that we feel what we already have lined up for our feelings, and then we go from there in choosing the joy and happiness that we want.